It's plus 20. Get in. Hello, welcome to part 3. Welcome to Fishing Squad. I had a nice sleep after the monster conger I had yesterday. That's done now. We're back on. Same mark. Slightly different tactics. Same tactic as what I had on the rod. I caught the conger. I'm just fishing simple running ledger rigs. On both rods, mackerel and squid. And we're having multipliers on both rods as well. Not for any particular reason other than I just think I'm putting an Abu 7000 on my second rod. I've got a Slosh 30 on one. I'm just testing the 7000 out because I converted it from a CS3 with a quick drag. What's it called? Is it lever drag or synchro drag? I took that off because I didn't like it. I want to give it a good test today. We're not casting far. And just lob that out. Maybe have the one with Slosh 30 on a little bit further out. We've got a slightly smaller tide, so hopefully we won't get pulled around as much. And basically, I want to just show people, even if you're using a fixed spool reel today, I just want to show people that you don't need all the high-tech gear to do this rock fishing. Get yourself a decent pair of wellies to start with, a decent all-weatherproof coat, a woolly hat if it's winter, or a cap if it's summer, or a pair of sunglasses if it's summer, or both. Make sure you're a distance away from the sea if the conditions don't favour being close to the sea. That's what we're doing today. So I'll show you the conditions. Obviously we've got an overcast day. We've got a bit of a fresh southwesterly which catches this mark. We've got a bit of a swell on below us. Now, some people might fish on the bottom ledge, but I know this breeze is going to pick up a little bit. I don't fancy it. If I need to go down to land out, I'll beach it, put my rod on my tripod that'll be here, drop down. Like yesterday I messed up because I got the conger on and I got it on this side. Down here in this gully, it wasn't as rough as this, it was low tide. And I went this way to try and land it. And there's a ledge at the bottom, but it's really difficult to get down to when you've got a rod and a fish on. So I had the conger here, then I had to come back up. I got down to about there, I had to come back up, go over my tripod, back over there, down, along the bottom round and get it in here. Luckily my line didn't touch the rocks the whole time I was doing that. Then I managed to spin it around this flat rock down here and bring it in sort of here. So that was mayhem on my own. So today we'll be just taking a bit more time, being calmer if we get something big on. I was calm, and that's probably why I got it in, because I didn't panic. But there were a point where I had to say, oh sorry, I'm going to just have to do this. Whereas today we'll try and if we get anything coming from this way, we'll try and bring it round this further round to start with, then drop down here and land it. Or if it's not so big, we can drop land it, beach it on the rocks down there. My Ron Thompson accelerators, I've got 80-pound leaders on. Once you've got a couple of wraps on your spool, you can easily land stuff. So yeah, think about where you're landing stuff. Think about the position of your tripod. You don't want a fish picking it up and dragging it over and dropping it onto them rocks below, so your rods will be knackered. So yeah, we'll get set up. I'll show you what we're doing. I mean, I reckon that conger yesterday, I reckon it come from over here where this cave is. I think it looks very congery along here. I've always said it. Me and my couple of mates have always said it. My line was that way, sort of thing, so it possibly did. But yeah, we've got a bit of a swell on, not too excessive. You can probably get on the bottom ledge as it ebbs out, but as you can see, you won't want a rogue wave wiping you out. I like to anchor my rod resting as well, so it's nice and firm. Just a bit of extra security, especially when you're fishing up at height. Plus you can also wrap your rods up with it. It's a good idea really. Optional extras again, I've got a stove here, brewing kit, spare gas, tea bags, cup, fork, spoon, milk, water, a pot noodle. Just basically make it more comfortable if you're down for a long time. Yeah, these are optional extras. You might want to consider bringing a flask, you might just want to consider bringing a bottle of pop, especially if it's summer and it's warm. Always bring something just to keep your energy levels up. So if you know, especially if you've got a long climb back up at the end of the day, it can be tiring being down here all day. Just be prepared when you come rock fishing. Have everything tied up, ready to go. So this is a simple rig that I think will serve anybody pretty well, to be honest. So it's just a simple running ledger rig. This is what I caught the conger on yesterday. We're going to tackle both rods up like that. What you'll find is with this, you don't have to mess about with elastic as much. You don't have to mess about clipping stuff down. And it can be a little bit more productive in that sense. It's not very good for casting, but you don't really need to cast far off here, as it proved yesterday. So we'll get a swivel, any old swivel will do. This is for your lead link, which will be a weak link at £20. You get an upside down bait clip, clip it onto your swivel, like that. This is like, that's your rotten bottom set up there, that upside down bait clip. Slide that onto your main line. This is an £80 leader onto £30 mono on this reel. On my slosh I've got £25 mono. I'm just going to use a more visual bead because it's going to be getting dark in a bit. It's just a buffer bead, but it just gives you a guide when you're winding in and bring your rig in through the water. It's just a bit of visual. So then onto that, you want a snood. We've got a 700 Shaughnessy on this one. I've pre-tied at home. It's on to £200 mono. Now, depending on where you're fishing, that might be a bit too heavy. On here, Conger's Husk, chance of a tote. Spear dog, possibly, I've never had one. 2 foot, snood. That's your 700 Shaughnessy. Half blood knot, 14, half blood knot. That's your power swivel, £275 power swivel. Tie that onto your leader. I'm doing a 4-turn uni knot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cinch it down. Just make sure it's tight. Snip your tag end off. Just something about tag ends. Some people like. I've never had a knot pull out in a fish, by the way, but some people like to trim them down a lot closer to the metal than that. I just like to give a bit. On my other snood, it's a little bit slightly shorter, but again, I like to give a bit. You're looking at millimetres shorter on that. I like to just have a bit, and same with my main line. No, I like to just have a leeway. So if it does slip a little bit, it's not going to pull through. They shouldn't slip because I've had the ones on the snood in the vise, and that then when I did the uni knot, your uni knot needs to like twist round to cinch down. If it does that, you'll be all right. To be in all honesty with you. So right, some old £20 mono. Cut about 8 inches off, 8 to 10 inches. Tie that onto your upside down blade clip. Now on this rod, because we're going to be fishing into the snags, you're going to like this one. We're going to test it to start with early on in the tide. It's quite rough to the right of us, rough ground. It don't really matter too much about your tag ends on your weak link line. So that's £20 line. What that'll do is I'll just get the lead. What we're going to use for a lead on this one is just an old jig bar to start with. Save on some weights. These are about 8 ounce. It were reinforced concrete, but reinforcing concrete bar, concrete reinforcer, what you want to call it, bar. And I'd made it into jigs. I'd sliced them in half. It's caught cod off them off Whitmere deep water wrecking. So all I've done is slice that in half. I've still got the split ring on the top. Tie that onto your wheat link. I'm using a gripper on the other one because I'm going to try and flick it out that little bit further. With this one, I'm going to aim to get it in amongst the rough. So, right, so you price that up now. When you cast out, you just want to have that on your upside down bait clip so it don't flick off in the cast. Right, so you price that up now. Rough ground rock fishing, you've got a hook. Pack of hooks about £10 for 25. You've got a swivel, pack of 50 for £5.50. You've got a bead, 200 for £6 or whatever. you've got another swivel, a cheap swivel. I can't remember. They give them away. Upside down bait clip off Amazon. They give them away. You've got a jig bar that's cost nothing basically. You've got £20 mono and £200 hook length. You're looking at peanuts for that rig. You know what the best thing about it is? It works. So that's what we're fishing on both rods basically. On the other one, I'm going to put a gripper. That's what we're going to put on both. And as far as the bait goes for this one, I've got a manky pack of mackerel here. I don't know how good they are. Basically, we're not even going to elasticate it on. It's a bit manky, this mackerel. I brought some bait through from home and it's got off in the fridge. What we're going to do is just going to cut that in half like that. Get the hook in the mackerel head. Right in through the middle of its eyes there, you know, it goes right through the skull. That's basically what I caught the conger on yesterday. That's our bait. I'm going to cast that out. I'll get the other rod tackled up, then we'll do a bit of a pan round, show you on the tripod. See if we can get some fish. Nice one. It's both rods in. Bit of a tide run, as you can hear. It's the drag in the tide run. I did have a little knock on the right hand rod a minute ago. It might have just been the lead rolling round in the tide though, I'm not sure. It hasn't come back if there's anything fishy. Got a bit of rain coming in as well. I'm still covered in conger slime from yesterday. So I'm going to make a brew and we'll just sit in a bit, chill out a bit till it gets dark, I think. Guys, well, the light's just dropping a little bit. I've had a couple of little dainty bites. They didn't feel like anything much better than maybe crabs, lobsters, rockling, that type of thing. I struck on one, felt like a fish bite because I had it in my hand. It gave it a bit of a nod. Picked it up, I had it in my hand. It did give it a bit more, but it was just too jerky. You know what I mean? To be anything like a huss or a conger or anything a bit better, so to speak. So, yeah, it's slow starts like it was yesterday, basically. Well, I think if any of this little bit of activity that's going off, the small stuff will soon bugger off once this light drops a bit more. I'd expect us to get into something. I'll just get about. I just had a little meltdown on the right hand rod. I don't know if you saw that on camera. I've got that way into this open space, but it's quite because we've got some coverage of the cliffs here. I think any tide run, it's like there's no tide run in this bit because it sweeps past it. There's like a slack basically. So yeah, it's been a comfortable start so far. Using them other rigs, keeping it simple, just showing you what I do, giving someone, if anyone's thinking about getting into rock fishing, just giving them a bit of advice. You can use a braided mainline if you want. I don't particularly like using braid off this mark. I prefer to use mono. Just find it casts better and stuff. Just prefer it when I'm fishing slightly bigger baits. And the ground and stuff, I don't think it merits using braid personally. I've used braid before on here. But I'm getting quite a bit of gear back and stuff, so I think I lost one rig and one complete setup yesterday, and that's it. And a couple of leads, that's it. So if I were losing a lot more gear, I think I would use braid. Still absolutely stoked about the conger I had yesterday, but like I say, that's done. Landed that on £25 mainline, £80 leader. I think you do need that bit of stretch sometimes. I did yesterday when I had that on the surface. You know, what you get from mono, a little bit of stretch. Comfortable start. I hit my knee yesterday. I slipped after I put the conger back. It made like, I'm covered in slime still. I tried to wash it off. It's like trying to get it's like trying to get araldite off something. Yeah, I slipped and I did hurt my knee. I had a cruciate ligament repair on it years ago. It swelled quite a bit. I was really struggling when I got out of bed this morning. Seized up almost. But I've had some ibuprofen and stuff. I've worked on it and it seems a little sore, but I've made it down here. I slipped where the conger had been on the rocks, basically, making a splash in this pool where I'd weighed it and all that. There were loads of slime up rocks and water. So I had the last laugh. I think I said in my video, I don't know if I did say. The last video, by the way, that you'll see with the conger in, I did have to cut out a lot of swearing and stuff because I was so stoked up by it, like I say. It's got a good feeling to it down here again tonight, though. Well, on back of what happened yesterday, basically. So I'm hoping that continues. I'm not expecting to get a £20 conger out. Not another one, anyway. But you never know. They'll be bigger, won't they, than that? We will see. PB Hustle would be nice. £13. 11.7's my PB. So just to beat that, I'd be happy with. That'd be an awesome couple of days down here to start 2025 off. So we'll see what happens anyway. Hopefully, when I bring you back, we'll have some fish to show. We'll see. Be back in a minute. Right, update. I've just had one really slamming pull down like this. Took some line off my reel. Got some. I don't know if I didn't get some rod quick enough, but by the time I picked it up, it's the rig's fast stuck on the bottom. I had a few more judders on my rod. Didn't feel like a horse. Put the rod down, pulled for a break, and it's actually snapped my leader rather than on the leader knot. So I'm thinking it's either something that's got stuck in some rock or if it's another conger or whatever. But it was a really good bite. So at least something's happening. I've just rebaited both rods. Fingers crossed something happens. Come on. It's awkward now to land anything. Sea's well on the turn. Won't fancy having to go down there to land out. I've just brought one rod in, still got one rod out. Headed off in a bit. I think I'm cut off now, so I'll have to go over the top. Right then guys, just got one rod out now. I've just lost a huss. I got it on, it was shaking its head, in tide run, and I just didn't, it just slipped the hook, as they do. I've dropped a edible crab. Not a very good session. I was toying with the idea of not putting this out there, but I'm going to do. You know, I'm just showing, this is part 3 and this is it, basically. You might get me rabbiting on a lot, which I've done. I haven't done anything constructive in terms of catching fish tonight. I've missed some bites. I've got a picture here that I'm putting in now of a tangled rig. I've been getting hammered by small straps, possibly some crab and lobster activity as well. The huss I've just had a good bite off. I've had 2 good bites tonight. First one was snagged up. I pulled for a break and my leader actually parted, not the shock leader knot. So I suspect it's around some rock or something, that I don't know. When I pulled for the break, the bite had gone, so I don't know if there's a fish out there somewhere with my rigging it or not. Not much you can do about that. Then I've just had a bite now, about 10-15 minutes ago. Really good bite, lime. I'm getting a bite now, just wait there. Hello, welcome back to Fishing Squad Part 4. First fishing trip of 2025, last session. After yesterday's epic fail on the back of the big conger in Part 2, we did have a few dainty bites and stuff yesterday. I think I dropped a huss as well. So I'm going to start off with a pennel. I'm just going to put one rod out for now, make a brew, chill out, then tackle the other rod up. Using multipliers again. I've got a different rig on today. The basic tactics yesterday failed for some reason. I don't know if it was the tide thing or what. We've got a smaller tide today. Can't see it being much better, but you never know. So we're just using up some taupe rigs, obviously, with the size of that conger. Heavy steel needs to be used anyway, so we've got £130 wire on this. 2 600 Shaughnesses. Turn the eye down on the back one to form the pennel hook. Power swivel, it's about 18 inches long, that power swivel to a 4-foot length of £200 mono. Gemini splashdown. Rotten bottom clip and weak link on my lead to form the rotten bottom system. I was toying with the idea of having to go with some braid on here today, but I changed my mind. So I'm going to get this fired out. See what happens. I don't like fishing in the rain. It's going to ease up as the day goes on and the wind's going to drop a little bit. Got quite a bit of a tide running. Well, quite a bit of a swell running, should I say. About 3 hours before low tide. So I'm going to fire this out. I'm going to stay probably till about midnight. I think I'm going to drive home later or drive home in the early hours. So, see how the session goes. It's comfortable. Way up, we're safe. So, let's see how it goes, basically. Nice bit of a swell on today. Beautiful. Some real mental lighting. Look at that pitch black. All the horizon lit up. Times like this when I fish on here, I just think, what's out there in that dark black night sea? It's usually sharp o'clock when it's like that on here. Taupe o'clock. Probably not in January. But I put a really big bait on one rod. It's actually probably just out in front of us as we're looking at the camera. Then on the other rod, put a slightly smaller bait on. What a night. The rain stopped. So cleared. It's absolutely stunning. Yeah, absolutely stunning skyline. No fish to report. Things have quelled down now. There's no rain. The wind's dropped. I'm feeling confident actually now. I'm gonna check my lines at the not filming rocks. Sound. Yeah. Feel a bit more confident than I did last. Well, not than I did last night, but than I did earlier on in this session and at the back end of last night's session. Got good conditions now. So, still we don't have any more rain. But what a skyline that is. Got a big bait on one rod. I don't know if I said that earlier, I think I did. I've got a slightly small one on the other. So, might be chocky bicky time and a brew. No else to do. Yeah, loving it. Love these 4 sessions that I've had. I think sometimes you can use all that bit of luck up in one session. At the moment, that's how it feels, but I'm not bothered. It's better than sitting at home in front of the fire. They do say it's not all about catching fish. It might not be, but it does help. It does help. That's what we're here for, isn't it, really? But when you treat skylines like that, when you're out, it's not the end of the world if we're blank, is it? It's still well early in tide light. That's why I still feel confident. So, yeah, we'll put kettle on and we'll take it from there. Just what you need when it's red hot. When it's freezing cold, I mean. A red hot cup of tea and a digestive to dip in. Lovely jubbly. Said lovely jubbly. Right guys, I've just had a bite on this rod. Just picked it up. I've started getting crappy bites again like I was getting last night. I've just cast that one out on the right of me. I'm getting that. It's a big bait that, it's only just at the bottom. It's like a big squid with 2 fillets of mackerel wrapped to it. Well, not full fillet, it's like half fillets of mackerel wrapped to it. Then this one, it hasn't been out much longer. It's just give a really good judder. I'm going to have to go put the other one on about looks of it. I'll pick other one up and see if we've got anything on it. Well, it's just tide run, but this one's cast out of the tide. So I don't know what's happening here. It's really difficult to assess. I'm just going to put them both back down on rod rest. As soon as I pick this one up, it stopped doing it, so like the other one did. Probably there's some crab activity or something. Yeah, that bite materialised like into a conger, like I say. He really ain't happy. He was awkward to catch out that pool. Yeah, it's a conger, mate. Getting put back. I've just had a tip ring flick off one of my rods that I'd repaired. Obviously didn't repair it good enough, so I'm down to one rod. Ah, well. Right, so obviously we're struggling. So what we're going to do is put a smaller bait out, adjust the length of our snood, and just try and get something else on the cards. Now, It's not going to be filming very well this because of the lighting situation. So I've got here, I'll just keep turning my head torch on and off, right. I've got it, it's got quite a long, it's a tote rig basically. It'll still be fine. The extra bit of monoing on the snood, I'm going to cut that out. Just fish the wire directly onto the rig body. So we'll do that now. It's just trying to get a fish on the cards basically. I'm just going to quickly snip that out. I might even shorten the rig body down because it's not massive, but it's long enough, if you know what I mean. I'm going to cut a foot out of the rig body. We're just going to put a small pulley out there. Small short pulley. Since the tides have started decreasing, the bites have just dried up. You know what I mean? Sometimes it has something to do with that. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't think there's a secret to it. I think it's just a case of the fish aren't swam past today. So we're going to try this, a shorter rig. Not too short, hopefully, no. It's very short, but not too short. It's a really short rig. It's probably 4 foot or 4 foot all in. But you've got to do something. You can't just sit on your hands. I do apologise for the poor lighting, i.e. the glare. Well, I'll just fillet some mackerel off and then I'll show you what I'm doing. I'll be able to probably do it in the light that I've got. So I've got a full squid. I'm just going to fillet a piece of mackerel to the length of the full squid and then just wrap it. So basically all I'm going to do is wrap them together. Put squid on the back of the mackerel. Some people take the tentacles off the squid. I don't. I do and I don't. I've got no problem with that being part of my bait. Tuck in. There's a lot of in between the eyes on the squid, or in that centre bit of the squid body. You know, the squid head. There's a lot of ink and scent and stuff. So I'm sure it can be a bit wasted if you just get rid of it. So we'll let's see what we can do with this. So I'll just wrap that up. It's a boring bit, but I'm trying to put some footage together because I'm failing miserably. So we'll go back to our rig. You can actually see just about. I've got 700 O'Shaughnessy, single O'Shaughnessy. And we're just gonna. It's got a paper clip on it. Just gonna put the spikes of the paper clip into the skin side of the mackerel. You can do it on the squid. It doesn't really make much difference which way you do it. I just like the back of the bait where the squid is to be exposed because I think there's a bit more scent coming out of it, sort of thing. It don't make any difference though, truthfully, I don't think. But just, as you can see, it's just going to be a smaller bait. I've been putting 2/3 of a mackerel out and half a mackerel and nearly a full mackerel with a piece of squid attached to it on an 8/0. So we'll just, oh, I've got a bite. Just wait there. I've got a hook. That's the first fish I've ever caught on a catfish hook on the back hook, the pennel. So if you see that Lincoln, mate, on the back hook of the pennel, catfish hook. Nice us. I think it's one of the trips. It's absolutely bloody freezing. Just shows how cold the water is, doesn't it? I'm gonna get a picture with her. I might give her a quick wave and put her back. But a nice one. Give me a good decent run that and a good fight as well. Definitely an us that I lost last night. Making up for it tonight. But a slow session. That one a big bait. I'm just making a small bait up there, but that can go out and I'll make a big bait up ready for the next bait up. Nice one. Actually coming at £10 here. I'm quite happy about that. I'm going to get it released. I'll try and video to get more video putting her back and stuff, but I just can't hold my phone and do it. So I'm going to release her. Lovely fish. Right, that's the next bait up going out then that I was showing you before I got that huss on. So I'm going to fire that out and then I'll bait that pennel back up with a big bait. We'll do that for the next couple of bait ups and see what happens. Right then guys, just a bit of an update. It's gone very quiet. So this is my last bait up. It's going to be a big one on a Cox and Roll meat hook. That was a bit of a, I don't know if you know this, some people will know it, some people won't. Cox and Roll 8-0 meat hook won't fit into a splashdown. I've put a splashdown on this rig because I want my, I've been using imps, but sometimes the big baits, they unclip, don't they? But I've just tied a splashdown onto this. So just remember that if you've got any wire, grip lead wires, bit of paper clip, this is a bit of paper clip, you can mount it onto your hook, like so. That'll fit in your splashdown, it'll keep it captive in the cast. I think people do it when they skate fish, don't they, a lot? Should keep it captive. Yeah. So that's the way of getting a big thick hook in a Gemini splashdown. Once I've fettled this, it'll there we go. Nice one. It's a little bit of a trick. I think it's common knowledge that, but I'm just putting it out there in case someone didn't know. Right guys, all packed away. It's not been a bad old night. I'm still absolutely stoked about the conger to a degree. It hasn't really sunk in, I don't think that yet. It's it will do when I reflect on it in a few days. It's just sort of, I was wondering what this light is in the background, this reflection on my thing. It's just, if you've watched part 2, which you will have done by now, there was a bit of emotion in it. Fish down here, I'm 40 years old. I've been coming down here since I was 4 years old. I had my first proper fishing session with my dad when I was 5. My first fish I caught was a pollock on the float, just in the same gully where I landed the conger, where I first saw that conger. I've had congers to £12. I had one at £15 the other year. That is a decent fish for off here. £20 a. I don't think it's enough at the minute, but if I look at this trip, the 4 sessions I've had, is it a success? Of course it is. It's a massive success. That is a good fishing tip for off the shore. I'm just not really, because I blanked yesterday, I'm a bit disappointed. I don't come down here expecting too much. I just expect not to blank, expect to get a huss and a strap conger every now and again at least. And I'll always keep coming down here, always keep trying. But yeah, so basically what I'm trying to say is I've fished down here for 35 years. That conger meant the world to me, but it hasn't sunk in. In that moment, it meant the world to me. You could tell there was a bit of emotion, a bit of a bit of everything going on. But I'm just really stoked by it. I have put it out there on social media. I haven't gone giving it the big I am, because tonight the challenge was to try and get something better, whether it were conger, taupe, PB huss. We haven't failed, but as of tonight, as I'm standing here on this rock ledge on my own, I'm only as good as a £10 huss and a £4 strap. Lesson learnt today as well. I videoed it, but it didn't record for some reason. When I got the strap, I put it in the rock pool. There's a rock pool to steer, just to chill out for a minute, because I had a bite on the other rod. Don't put a conger in a rock pool, because it unhooked itself and it was trying to catch. Oh, they can swim backwards as fast as they can swim forwards, can't they? It's only a small rock pool, but I couldn't grab it. I had to get my rag out and grab it with that. That's why we're thrashing about so much when I got that bit of footage of it. Then session's gone all right. We've had a double figure huss. You know, I'm still beating myself up about it, but it's gone all right, hasn't it? Like I said, I've fished down here for 35 years. To get a £20 8-ounce conger, I'm just stoked, happy. I am satisfied, but I'm not on the same token. What I never want to seem like in my videos, I don't want to seem like I'm trying to give it the big I am. You know, I'm recording it, I'm sharing it with people, and what happens in that moment happens in that moment. I did cut a lot out of the conger video, to be truthful, of effing and jeffing, because I just went, I was going ballistic. You'll probably notice it if you've watched it already. There's a few like, because I was effing and jeffing, like, just a lot of emotion come out. that's what fishing's all about. Well, I've still got the drive and determination. I never feel like I've completed anything ever, and that's what I just want to get out there. So, next plans. I was thinking about going back on the Humber, but I don't think I'm going to do, Martin. I do apologise, mate. I think try and get through here again at some point. And there's a mark that I want to try for congers. I've had a 12-pounder up it. I've had a few others, straps, 6, 7, 8 pounds. I think it might do a big one. I've just never targeted them off it. I think the only time I did I got a 12-pounder, but it was only for a short spell when it was really rough. And I think it could be worth a shot. So, yeah. So I'm happy, but I'm determined. I'm content, should I say. But I'm determined to do better, you know. Yeah. So that's how I feel about that. But you could see how much it did mean a lot to me. It did mean a lot to me. Yeah. I've spoke far too much in these videos about my Jetboil for one. But Paul, you did say send a video of me cooking on Jetboil. I know you didn't want me to mention it every 2 minutes in my videos, but it's been honestly, I can't. It's what a piece of kit. What a piece of kit. That's just. Honestly, guys, I thought when I first loaded my bag up with a litre of water, 2 litres of water, well, how much? I think we have a litre or 2 litres of water. I thought it were going to, with the extra weight, I thought it were going to be really sort of a drag. But when you get down here and you start making brews, it's worth it. Having a something hot to eat like a pot noodle. You can cook soup in it as well if you wanted to. I might have something to look at doing later date. So yeah, that's enough, I think. You may have ended up with part 3 and part 4 joined together. I'll have to see what footage I've got. But other than that, from the end of the Llyn Peninsula on a rock ledge solo, that's it. I'm heading back up now.
Keep safe, guys. Tight lines. Have a good one. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It's very much appreciated. Thank you very much. See you in the next one.